going on, guys? It's Michael MGF, and today I'm going to be doing my first custom LEGO minifigure showcase video of 2015 on the Reverse Flash from the CW series, The Flash. And when it was revealed back in October that the Reverse Flash was already going to be showing up in just the mid-season finale of the very first season, I was like, holy crap, and I knew I was probably going to end up making the minifigure eventually, but I did wait until the mid-season finale actually aired before I really started to consider that I would make the minifigure, and as soon as it did air though, I knew I was definitely going to go straight for it. And as soon as I get my hands on more Flash cowls from the official Flash minifigures, I got to work, and I used these cowls on my Captain America costumes too, if you didn't know. But yeah, the Reverse Flash has easily become the best part of the series. Aside from Grant Gustin's really awesome performance, Captain Cold, and the amazing visual effects, it's just overall a great series, and the Reverse Flash, like I said, has become the best part of it, which is why I wanted to make this minifigure. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So you would think that making the Reverse Flash was a pretty repetitive process now that I've already made the Flash himself last year, but believe it or not, the Flash in the CW series, the Reverse Flash, has a pretty significant amount of differences in his suit in comparison to Barry's, and in that way it's not like the comics, because usually in the comics his outfit is a direct opposite of Barry's, and not the case in the CW series, because it was definitely not a repetitive minifigure for me to make because he has so many differences in his outfit in comparison to Barry's. Well, yes, there are similarities. The cowl is basically exactly the same. The front of his legs is basically exactly the same, but I mean, all of it being done in different colors and having to do like the yellow faded effect on the arms and legs, different things like that made this minifigure quite far from repetitive, actually. But yeah, so the cowl is pretty much the same as Barry's, featuring the exact same set of lines stretching from the top of the eyes all the way to the back of the cowl, and those were not fun to do because making lines that are that extensive and that have to go, you know, in such a perfect fashion all the way to the back of the helmet, not exactly an easy thing to do, but it did work out. And another thing I was not looking forward to doing with the Reverse Flash here was replicating the same lightning bolts that I had for my original Flash, and that was not fun. Even though I have to say, I think these lightning bolts turned out better than they did on the actual Flash himself. Maybe it's just me personally, but I really feel like I got these to look even more symmetrical, and they turned out really awesome. Obviously all painted in red, but it was not fun for me to do a second time, not an easy thing for me to do. And if you're curious what I use for the lightning bolts themselves, like the material, I said it in that showcase for the Flash and Captain Cold, I don't actually remember. I bought this, like, it's like a strip of rubber almost, and I got it from Hobby Lobby. I mean, you could just take a stroll through the aisles one day and probably find it, but it comes in like a roll, and it's like a strip of this like rubber material that I cut them out of with an X-Acto knife, and it works really well. I used it on the Falcon, I used it for these lightning bolts, I've used it on several minifigures, and it works really great. It's an awesome material. But yeah, so the black shading that you see stretched all over this minifigure that almost makes him look like he has battle damage, I mean, that is the way it looks in the show. Like, there are differences between the color of his shoulders and then the, you know, like the rest of his arms. I mean, you'd have to look at the suit yourself to fully understand the color of it, because it's not a basic bright yellow. It's not just one base color. Like, there's a variety of yellow on his suit, and there's like, I would say at least 2 shades of yellow, and then on top of that you have like sort of this black wear on his suit that I try to replicate once again using a black shade on the torso, the arms, and the back of the torso, and then a little bit on the cowl. Now, originally, I wanted to put a lot of the black shade on the cowl, but it was a little bit overwhelming in certain areas, especially the cowl, so I made sure to tone it down by using the base color yellow that I originally started with. And to give you an idea of what that base yellow color was, you can see it right here in these like square portions of the torso. Right there, these parts that stand out, that's only because they're using that base color of yellow, because it was just having the entire minifigure covered in the black shade, it was a little bit overwhelming, so once again I toned it down by putting the base yellow color in certain areas. Like here, you can see I have some of the base yellow color wrapped around the actual lightning bolt in the center here, and then once again I toned it down by using the base color on the cowl itself. So yeah, but real quick to go ahead and pull off the cowl to give you a look at the head. You can see that the head is was definitely another interesting part for me to make, because I should mention that it is pretty much like the actual like sort of like the portion of the mask that wraps around the head is pretty much the same as Barry's, but obviously you have it in yellow, and then I actually did a little outline around like the chin area, like the bottom of his face, and I did not do that with Barry, actually. And that was something I wanted to do with the Reverse Flash here to make it stand out a bit more, make it more defined. And you can see this face is fully painted, just like the entirety of this minifigure. And painting the eyes was pretty interesting because I really wanted to nail the whole glowing effect that he has in the series. And to do that, I pretty much had to just go over a bunch of different concepts. Like you can see, like the eye sockets here, like you can see a little bit of flesh there, right, in the eye sockets. Well, originally I filled it in with black, and then I put the red eyes on top of that. That didn't work. I filled it in with red, and then put the red eyes on top of that, but with an outline. That didn't work. So eventually, I just went ahead and said, hey, I'll do the red eyes and then wrap them with a ring of red to make them look like they're glowing. And that worked out best. And that's obviously what I went with for my Reverse Flash minifigure. And yeah, so I have to say another thing that I really like over my actual Flash minifigure is that the lightning bolt on his chest turned out significantly better. And that's only because working with gold paint is not as easy as it is to work with basic red paint. And that's why this lightning bolt, I would have to say, turned out so much better. And also you'll notice he does have like these sort of like squiggly lines or like wrinkles, whatever you'd like to call them, wrapped around the lightning bolt. And that is something that is also unique to the Reverse Flash's outfit in the show. And so I did my best to replicate those, and I think they definitely turned out pretty awesome. And they, like I said, they, because they're unique, they make this minifigure stand out a lot from the actual, Flash himself. So there's that, and also these shoulders, and they have like all their individual little buttons on them, and those were definitely pretty interesting to get right and have them all in the right position. And then obviously getting the little dot of yellow in the middle of each one of them, and those are obviously on the shoulders, and the shoulders are actually in the accurate shape as well. And I do want to talk about the back real quick. The back, unfortunately, probably is inaccurate, and that goes with good reason, because in this series, if you're watching the show, I'm not sure if this is really considered a mild spoiler or not, but the Reverse Flash is actually basically vibrating himself incredibly fast to blur himself to conceal his identity, and so that includes basically the entirety of his suit, and therefore I have no idea what's on his back. And so unfortunately, this was probably inaccurate, but regardless, I painted what I think what it would probably look like, and then obviously I have the black shade on top of that. And yeah, another thing I did use for the Reverse Flash were the tiny tactical glove tops. I know I use them a lot, but I'm always very careful to, in deciding what minifigure I think needs them and which minifigure does not. In this case, I thought the Reverse Flash definitely needed them, and they look a lot better on him. So I gave him the pair of tiny tactical glove tops. Link to Tiny Tactical will be down in the description below if you want to pair for any of your minifigures. And another thing that I did for the Reverse Flash, which is once again another unique element, it might be from time travel, who knows, but he's got like this yellow faded effect over the majority of the black areas of his outfit, because I'm not sure, we don't know if he's time traveling or not, if that's an effect of that, we don't actually know, but I did my best to replicate it with this minifigure, and that was something I knew I was going to do for the Reverse Flash from the start. And you can see it's basically, the way I painted it was almost like painting yellow battle damage, and the parts I'm talking about, you can see them on the bottom halves of the arms and the upper halves of the legs, and like I said, it's just basically like painting yellow battle damage in a lot of ways, and that's pretty much the way I went about it, and I definitely think it turned out pretty awesome. The belt is a little bit different from Barry's because the center area actually has a little bit of a different design, while I do have pretty much the exact same lightning bolts on the sides of his belt, but in red, and the same can be said for the back as well of the belt, pretty much the same lightning bolts on the back there. And then the front of the legs is like one of the very few elements of making the Reverse Flash that was slightly repetitive, because they are pretty much the same design as Barry's, just obviously in different colors, and they have that same yellow faded look. So that's pretty much what I did for the Reverse Flash, was just pretty much copy what I already had on Barry, and just obviously once again have the faded yellow effect, and then obviously again it's in different colors. So that's pretty much what I did for the Reverse Flash. But then the sides of his legs are also different, because they do not feature the same design either, because it's just he has much more simple design on the rest of his legs based on what I could tell. So yeah, and then the back of his legs also has pretty much the same design as Barry's for the most part, just featuring some additional lines wrapped around these little parts of yellow that you can see there. So yeah, I know I've been comparing the Reverse Flash to the actual Flash quite a bit, but that's for good reason, because obviously he's the opposite. So I wanted to give you guys the idea of how much different the Reverse Flash minifigure actually is in comparison to my actual Flash. So yeah, that's pretty much it though for my Reverse Flash minifigure, my first custom minifigure in 2015. And man, the Reverse Flash is such an epic character on the series. It makes the series so much more exciting, especially not knowing who he is and just waiting to find out who he is, because overall it's added such a great element of mystery to the series, which I really appreciate. So yeah, I think I've kept you guys long enough, so let's go ahead and wrap up this video. Hey Dr. Wells, I forgot you're standing. And what's that? Alright guys, and that about wraps up my first showcase video in 2015 on the Reverse Flash. And if you enjoyed this showcase video or maybe found yourself inspired to make your own minifigures from the Flash, then be sure to let me know by dropping this video a like below and or your opinion on the minifigure down in the comments, as both of which, any of which really mean a lot and definitely go a long way, because inspiring you guys is why I do this. And when I see you guys making your own minifigures based off mine, that means a lot to me. But yeah, you can also follow me on the Twitter, the Bookface, and the Instagrams. Links to all three of those are down in the description below as well, and there I post all kinds of behind the scenes photos and updates and preview photos, more importantly, of minifigures I'm working on, such as minifigures like this, because as a matter of fact, the people who are following my social media networks, they were like, I think I showed the Reverse Flash like almost half a week ago. So yeah, it is definitely pretty worth it, because it is much easier to post a photo over on those than it is to fully edit and record an entire showcase video or review, like I always say. So yeah, the Flash actually comes back on tonight, which is super exciting. The winter break is finally over, and the freaking first episode is going to have Captain Cold and Heatwave, which is super exciting. Got the freaking two main stars of Prison Break, and that's great, because Wentworth Miller as Captain Cold in episode 4 was awesome, and now having him back again for another episode, along with, like I said, the same guy who starred alongside him in Prison Break as Heatwave, it's like, this show has some of the friggin' best actors I've seen on any superhero TV show. So yeah, really exciting stuff. Hopefully you enjoyed my first showcase video in the year. I've got some pretty awesome minifigures on the way, such as Age of Ultron minifigures and Minecraft minifig scale customs that I'm working on. All of that is coming very soon, man. So look forward to that. I'll catch you guys later. All right.
Bye.
I don't know who you are.
But you do, Barry. I never do.
This minifigure, so without further ado, let's get in. Gosh damn it. Here you go, my first showcase video. My first showcase. What the frick speak? GF, and today, the Reverse Flash from the, damn it, the Heatwave. It was gonna be, I'm not doing this.